Hello and welcome. So it has been a little while since I've made a video. Well, I released one earlier on, which is basically just a slideshow of everything that I've done in 2025. I was taking a little bit of a break from making videos and stuff to camera on YouTube. In 2025, at the beginning of the year, we had a bereavement in the family, and I wasn't feeling like I wanted to be on camera or anything like that for a while. So I thought I'll have a little break and then get back into it. And then it got to about June, and because I got out of the habit of it, I thought, well, I might as well wait till the end of the year and kind of do a roundup. I am going to continue making videos every month like I did before. They might look slightly different because I've kind of worked out a new way that I want to do them, which I think works quite well, or works well for me anyway. Having said that, we are renovating a house and moving, so there might be a delay on a video or two, or I might have to skip one, but I'm hoping that I can mostly keep to it this year. So this video isn't going over everything that I made in 2025. If you saw my slideshow video, you'll see that I made an awful lot of things, so I don't want to talk for hours and hours on them. I probably could, to be fair. I am just picking out my favourites of the year, so that will be my focus for this. I still think I probably chose too many and I could have had fewer, but we'll we'll see how we get on. I might edit out a few bits depending on how I feel when I come to it. Okay, so my favourites of 2025. The first thing that I made of the year was a marmalade sandwich. So basically, my aunt has had a Paddington bear since she was a child, and he had recently got a new hat because his original one got lost. And I asked if he had a marmalade sandwich to hide under his hat, and my aunt advised me that he didn't. So I decided to make her one and pop it in the post. It didn't take me very long to do. It was basically a square which I then folded over, used a darker colour to make the crust edges, and then I sewed on the marmalade colour. It worked really well. If I ever need to make a sandwich again, I mean a yarn sandwich, I know how to make a real one. This is probably how I will do it. Oh, I really like these fingerless gloves. I made these for someone else, so sadly I couldn't keep them. But I am in the middle of making another pair for myself. In making this slideshow and the slideshow with everything on it, I realised there's a few things that I've made for other people that I kind of want to have for myself. So making a pair of these, they are really easy and really quick. If you know how to do a granny square and a slip stitch, you can make these no problem. As I say there, it's basically 8 round granny square. You fold it and then slip stitch up most of the sides, skip a bit for the thumb hole, and then that's it. If you want to make it longer, then this bit here, if you basically, I think the idea, and this is what I'm going to do with the ones I'm making for myself, is start the slip stitch together up this end so that by the time I get here I can then add a few rows to make them longer, because I do like a longer wrist arm bit on gloves, just so that when I'm wearing long sleeves I can tuck them in so I've got no drafts going up my arms. This is a baby blanket that I made for my niece. She was still in utero at this point, so I did go a little bit overboard with the amount of things that I made for her, but there are just so many cute baby patterns out there, so I had to. I really like this one. I think I should have made it bigger, really, but then, she's a baby. You don't need a massive blanket for a small baby. It might become something she has as like a lovey or something in the future, I don't know, but I really, really liked it. Another blanket that I made for my niece. This is one of many, many granny square blankets that I made in 2025. In the gap between Christmas and New Year in 2024, I learned the crochet join as you go method. Up until this point, the only way I'd ever been joining granny squares was by sewing them together, and I detest sewing stuff together. If you have seen probably anything that I've put out regarding crafts, especially granny squares, you'll know that I hate sewing stuff together. I don't know why, because I enjoy the process of hand sewing if I'm doing like a sewing project, But when it comes to knitted things, I just hate it. Like this is a granny square cardigan, and there's no sewing. It's all just crocheting it together. The crochet join as you go method revolutionized my crochet game, and I've made a lot of blankets this year, which is good because I've had a lot of extra yarn that I've needed to use up, because I apparently can't judge how much yarn I need to buy and very much over purchase. But yeah, this is just like a little blanket. I think it's about this big, maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I don't have it anymore. However, my niece uses this a lot, or I should say my sister-in-law and my brother use this a lot for my niece. I don't think she consciously chooses the blankets that she uses. Because of the yarns that I used, it kind of gives gardeny vibes, which I quite like, because the marble yarn is a variegated colorway, so it kind of just goes through the different colors, and then the green that I used for the outside is all just solid green, but to me it kind of gives flower bed gardeny kind of feeling, and I really like that. This is a scarf that I made for my mum for her birthday. It's from a paid pattern, which the link will be in the description for it. I did go a little bit wrong with it, but you can't really tell when it's worn. Obviously, I'm wearing it in this picture. It's quite nice. I think I might make one for myself, actually. This is a scrap granny square blanket that I made. It's one of at least 5 blankets that I made this year just to use up yarns. I've, over the years, accumulated a lot of yarns. I did manage to reduce all of my yarns that I had in the house for quite a while, and then I was buying more yarns for different things, and they've kind of added back up again. So every now and then I'll make a few things like granny square blanket or a hat, scarf, gloves, whatever. I've made a few different things which I've then just given away to people who want them, because I'm only making them to use the yarn up. It keeps me busy. It uses up the yarn that I've got. I don't mind paying a few quid here and there to post them to people. So if you want some free stuff in the future, I will probably have more things available as we go along. This is the Virus shawl, and I absolutely adore this pattern. It's really, really nice. I've made a few things using this pattern. This is a nice long shawl that I wear when I'm going out and about in the winter. If it's not too cold, but I still need a little bit of something just to kind of wrap around me. I really like the pattern. It's an easy 4-row repeat. Once you get into the swing of the pattern, you don't need to kind of sit and watch, or read through rather, a pattern. Um, and it looks really, really nice, especially I think with variegated yarns. Like it really lends itself well to that kind of stripy effect. This is probably the shawl I wear most often, either out and about or around the house if I'm a bit chilly, and I really, really like it. You can't see it right now, but it is on the banister just out there. You can see the banister in the picture. This one. It's sat on there so that if I need it, I can just grab it. Oh, this one and the next slide. So these 2 slides are. This is a set of things that I made for my niece at the request of my sister-in-law. She really, really loves Winnie the Pooh, and she purchased a pattern book from Fenwick Toys of all of these, the characters from Winnie the Pooh. Um, I must really love my sister-in-law and my niece because these are all made with chenille yarn, and I'm not a fan of chenille yarn at all. I've still got the leftover yarns sat in my yarn box here because I don't know what to make with them because I don't buy chenille yarn. In fact, I might just offer it out to people. If people want the yarn, they can have it. It's just awkward to work with. Like, it feels really nice when you've got a finished object. It's nice and soft and that sort of thing, but working with it, I am not a fan of it. But I enjoyed making these. I think I would probably make them again with a regular yarn rather than a chenille one. They would be a lot smaller, but they would still be just as cute. I did make some changes with the Eeyore pattern, because the pattern that was with them, the ears were a bit more rounded, and I thought it looked more kind of monkeyish, like it was similar to the ears on Rue. And personally, I didn't like it. It's a good pattern, it's well written, but the way that it looked, I wanted something slightly different. So I basically made up the ears as I went, made some notes so that they matched. This one, it doesn't look like it matches, but it does. It's just folded funny in the photo. This this is a reversible mood toy. So I've got it here. It's happy or sad. I usually have it on the happy side because I am usually happier than I'm not. I did make, this is the second one that I made of it. The first one I made was a bit, he'd seen the horrors because I used buttons for eyes and it was a little bit, I wasn't a big fan of it, but my other half's cousin wanted it, so I let her have it. Oh, so I made a couple of these little like dungarees type things for my niece. I really like this yarn because it's stripy and it's got lots of different colours in it. I think they look really cute. I've not seen her in them, but because of how far away that I live from the rest of my family, I don't see her all that often, so she might wear them, I just haven't seen it. This is a massive blanket that I made for my other half's cousin and her husband as their wedding gift. The sunflower is a favourite of the bride. It's literally her favourite flower. She has sunflower everything. So when they announced they were getting married, I knew that this would be the perfect thing to make for her. Well, for both of them, but it's mostly for her. But they both sit under it. I made it big enough that you can have two people sat under it on the sofa, or you can pop it on the bed, or whatever it is that sort of wherever you want to put it. The picture isn't the best, I'll admit. I think it's a screenshot from a video, and the sun was just not on my side that day. It was very sunny. So it didn't photograph very well, but you can get the idea. You can see what I'm going for with it. This is a cardigan that I made that I really, really like. The yarn that I used, I had bought, I think, to make socks with, and then I changed my mind, and the yarn just kind of sat to one side, not being used. And it's a couple of different colorways of the yarns that I've used. And it's a granny hex cardigan. It's like a short one with shorter sleeves, like they only just about come to my elbow. But this is a great little one just for a little cover up in summer rather than like a big bulky one, because I prefer to keep my arms, or the tops of my arms, covered throughout the day, especially when I'm out and about. So having a little something I can just sort of pop on is really handy. What I do as well is, because of the length of it, I tie it at the front like a little tie up thing. I don't know what to call it. But I really like this one. I wear it fairly often. This is a pants bag. So I sewed this one because I had some extra fat quarters left over from a project I'd had in mind but then didn't end up doing, with a lovely nautical theme. I really like it because it's little lobsters. But I had seen Stacey Solomon had done like a red carpet interview type thing, like a vox pop, whatever you want to call it, and she was talking about how she was using a bag that you would normally use for putting like your shopping bags in the kitchen, but using it for underpants. And I thought that was absolutely a fantastic idea, so I made this and I use this for my underpants because I don't have any different pants. All of them are exactly the same, like the same size, the same colour, literally everything. I just buy multi-packs of the same underpants because I'm a creature of habit, if nothing else. And I have more underpants than the regularity in which I do my laundry. So like, say for example, if I do my laundry every 4 days, I have more than 4 pairs of pants. So I always worry that I'm going to have some underpants that don't get any use whatsoever, and others that just get constantly worn and washed and worn and washed. So to make sure that they get even wear, I use this instead. So clean ones go in at the top, then when I need a pair of pants to wear, take it out the bottom, and that means that they all in theory get like an even wear. I know it sounds really silly, I'm probably overthinking it, but it's quite handy. And also it doesn't take up room in a drawer, so I've got room in my drawers for other stuff, because I just hang this on the back of my bedroom door. This is a really cozy cardigan. I have slightly amended it since finishing this actually. The cuffs, I usually do a cuff that's slightly tighter than the arm. Like with this one here, you can see that the it cinches in a little bit here. But the issue that I had with this when I've worn it a few times is that the sleeves, it wouldn't be tight enough around my elbow to stop it from sliding down again. So since making this and finishing it, I've added some elastic, actually the same as I've done here. You probably can't tell that there's elastic in there, but I can because the sleeves stay up where they're supposed to. I really love this yarn. I've used so much of this yarn this year. It's unbelievable. On the 1st of January, I went to Hobbycraft because I'd been given a Hobbycraft voucher by some relatives for Christmas, and I saw this yarn. It's the Knitcraft Spinning Kaleidoscope Greenways. They've got a few different colours, but I really like this combination of colours. So I bought it and I made a few things. I've made so many things with it. Like if you look at my other video, the one with all of the things that I made in 2025, you'll see this yarn coming up over and over again. And in fact, I am making something right now with that same yarn. Yeah, it's a brilliant yarn. I really like it, and this cardigan is fantastic. It's very cozy. It's not a summer cardigan, even though I made it in the summer. It's not a summer cardigan. This is another pants bag. I made it for a different part of my underwear. This one's crocheted rather than sewn. I basically use the same method that I do for making sleeves. It's like a granny square but in a tube, which it worked really well. This one has my my bras in it. Again, same bras every day. I don't really tend to change what kind of underwear I have. It's like my foundation is what I wear and that's it. I don't stray from it. So this one has my bras in, hangs on the door next to my other pants bag, along with a third one, which I will get to in due course. So this is something I'd wanted to make for ages, and it has become quite popular in the online knitting scene. It's called the Sophie hood, and it's really nice. The method it uses is it's like an I-cord edge that you knit the I-cord as you go. A lot of the time when I-cord is knitted, it's like an afterthought edge where you make the I-cord after everything else is done as a finishing. I think it looks really nice. I really enjoyed making it, but it takes quite a while to make it up. I'm a big fan of things that don't take long to make. That's why I managed to make so much stuff in a year, is I managed to make things that don't take a long time. This is another sunflower blanket. This one is for my father-in-law. It's his Christmas present, because he saw the blanket that I made for my other half's cousin, and he wanted to have the same one, so I made him one as well. And this is my third pants bag. This one houses my tights. So you probably can't tell from the picture compared to the other ones that I made, but this is about twice as wide and twice as long as the other ones because I have a lot of pairs of black tights. And again, concerned with having the same ones being used over and over, and also with drawer space, I thought this would be a really good way to use up some yarn and be able to have my my tights in there. 99% of my outfits, the basis is the same pants, bra and tights, so it makes sense for me to have those three things in this kind of easy to grab and dispense pattern. But yeah, I made it a lot bigger because there are more pairs to put in there. It's a great system and I really like it. Ooh, this I made for my Halloween costume. I changed my mind. I changed my mind last minute when it came to Halloween. Originally, I was going to be a butterfly, and I did actually make butterfly wings. I crocheted them, and I spent absolutely ages making these wings. And then it got to a week or so before, and I realised I didn't want those. So I scrapped it, and I came up with this pattern off the top of my head, and I didn't write it down. So in essence, I made 3 granny squares and a triangle and attached them together and then made a hood. But more specific than that, I cannot tell you what I did. I have no idea. I can't remember. I wish I did write it down, but if you're any good at sort of reverse engineering stuff, you should be able to from the photos. This is a lovely little poncho that I made for my niece. So again, for Christmas, I went a little bit overboard with things for my niece. I really, really like this one. It's knitted and crocheted. So I started off with the knit pattern, which I designed myself. Went wrong once, tried it again. This is the finished one, and then added some extra bits for length. It is probably a bit long for her at the moment, but this is great for in the car because you can strap her in and then just like tent her with it. Again, this is for my niece, another little blanket. I still had lots of this yarn left over because I bought a lot more than I needed to for the things I was making for her. Unfortunately, I'm never good at guessing how much I need. This is why I make so many scrap blankets. But I basically made 4 swirly granny squares and 5 non-swirly granny squares and attached them all together. I even made sure that the swirls are all pointing in different directions. I don't know if it's that easy to tell when you look at it, but like I think if I made them all face the same way, or if one of them was wrong, it would look weird. Whereas this, because it doesn't look weird, it's worked, if that makes sense. These are some long sleeve gloves that I made for my other half for Christmas. This is a pattern that I've gone back to time and time again. There was one Christmas, I think it was during lockdown, where I think about 20 people ordered gloves off me, and this is the pattern that I used. And it's really, really good, and it's really simple. As long as you can do knit, purl, yarn over, and cast off, you can make these. And you can make them flat, or you can do them in the round. I always do them in the round because I hate sewing things together. As long as you've got the right size needles, or I can't use the magic ring method. A lot of people have tried to show me and it just doesn't compute and it always goes wrong. I just have varying sizes of interchangeable needles, so that's how I make mine. This cardigan was an absolute saga, so I'm really happy with how it turned out in the end. I made it and then I tried it on and looked at it, and I'll see if I can stick a photo in over the top here. The way that I'd made the spiral, it was only about this big and it was right on my arse, so it looked like it was directing you to the Forbidden Lands. So I pulled it all apart and started again. It's not perfect, but I am happy with how it's turned out. Like this swirl here, I wanted it to be here, like on the top, like nearer the top of my back than it is. It's still on my arse, but it looks less like it's directing traffic. But it's really comfy, and I think if I made this again at this length, I wouldn't do the swirl. I'd just do a normal granny square at the back, just to it wouldn't be as obvious of where it starts, I think, in that kind of situation. But it's comfy and it's brightly coloured. I don't wear brightly coloured stuff. That's a lie. I didn't used to wear colour in my clothing. I was very much a black, dark colours, that's it. But I've decided I want to be a bit brighter nowadays, so expect a lot of rainbows if you see me in real life. And that's it. So thank you for joining me if you have made it this far. If you want to find me anywhere else, there is a link to my link tree down in the doobly-doo. I will also include the links to all the patterns for everything that I have a pattern for. If there's anything in there that there isn't a pattern for and you would like to know, just give me a shout and I'll see what I can do. I'll send you my notes or try and explain them as best I can. And hopefully I'll see you again next month.